Take it for what it is. I'm not sure if this is an indication of the resilience of the market or if it's just an indication of the abnormal market market conditions that we're facing. Because at one point there was a lull in 2020 in Alberta, Calgary, Edmonton, you name it, the major markets in Alberta. There was a dip, and even I guess even throughout 2020. But as we're seeing, Calgary market post surging performance despite pandemic woes. So I think we're really seeing the power of lowered interest rates. We're seeing the power of work from home as well. So the question really becomes, what exactly is driving that momentum in certain markets? I mean, historically, when there's been issues with around oil, or issues around oil, we saw with the pipeline cancellation. Uh, Usually, we see some sort of impact in the Alberta market, but here we are. Even during COVID and with negative news for the oil market, we're still seeing resilience in the real estate market. Now, this could, like I said, mean it's just an indication of resilience and the diversification and the resilience of that market, or it could mean just should be an indication of the abnormal times that we're living in due to this sustained low interest rate environment. But my personal beliefs, what do I think? I think a lot of it is being driven by people leaving other more expensive urban areas and traveling to these less expensive urban areas. And that's really it. I think that's probably the main driver in this activity. I'm seeing a flood of people leaving the Toronto region because they no longer have to be forced to stay in a close proximity to their workplace, and that's what's probably driving the price surge is in these other areas. So let's take a look at the article and see what's going on. Before we do though, feel free to like if hit the like button and subscribe if this is your first time. And yeah, let's go through it. So, despite accounting for nearly half of all COVID-19 cases in Alberta, Calgary saw March home sales reach a multi-year high as rock bottom lending rates and mounting savings continue to make themselves felt in the market. The latest data from Calgary Real Estate Board indicated that the market had 2,903 sales in total last month, representing a 147% annual increase and the highest for March since 2007. And if you remember 2007, which I guess depending on how old you are, but if you remember that time, oil was crazy. Everything was crazy those years. Prices were through the roof. Alberta was booming, and that was a time where you would expect to see those that reflected in their real estate activity, right? But fast forward 14 years, a lot can change in 14 years, right? Diversification away from certain major industries can create that resilience, so you don't really see shocks to the entire economy as you would, again, 13, 14 years ago. So SERB chief economist Anne-Marie Lurie added that the addition of 4,437 new listings for the month, up 83% year over year, helped impel this extraordinary sales performance. Previously, sales have been somewhat restricted by the lack of listings. This month, there was a jump in new listings, contributing to the strong monthly sales, Lurie said. Low lending rates and improved savings have supported sales activities. Red hot sales that accompanied a 7% increase in the city's benchmark home price, reaching $441,000. $441,900, Lurie cited this as a potential driver of future market strength. Improving prices will likely support future further gains in new listings as sellers try to capitalize on the recent shift towards rising prices. Eventually, this will help support more balanced conditions, but it could take time before we see the shift in this market or in the market. I mean, you take a look at that number, 441,900. That's how much lower is that if you compare it to other major cities like Toronto, which is closer to a million, or in even London, Ontario, which is around 600,000. The GTA, most of the GTA is around a million, right? So yeah, this is a situation where a millennial has an opportunity if they have in a sort of digital space, right, where they can be flexible with their job, the location of their job, right? You can purchase this home with what, 5% down. You have $25,000 saved up. You can do that, right? The kind of income you and a spouse would need for that, it's about 100,000, right? A little over 100,000. If you have two incomes, 60,000 each, you can do that, right? So here's an opportunity for a lot of folks that are making reasonable incomes, that have been working for a while, that have some savings set aside, and they can purchase homes. They can purchase nice homes in this area. So why wouldn't they move out of a Toronto? Why wouldn't they move out of a BC, or just or a Vancouver, right? So that they can actually own something for themselves. And I think that's really what's driving that. There's a lot of what I mean. Think about it. For 2,903 sales in total last month. I mean, I'm sure we can. That's not a hard number to imagine. A couple thousand people take a look at the prices out there. They're in a situation where they can leave their job, or not necessarily leave their job, but leave the location that they're currently in because their job has that flexibility. 2,000, 3,000 people, right? So that they can finally buy a home. I think it makes sense. I don't know. That's my theory. Let me know what yours is down below in the comments. Anyways, I just thought I'd go through that because it's just a weird market. Like we're going up, 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 and up. Who knows when the fall will be? There's so many different factors going on, and it's easy to make predictions and be wrong with those predictions, and then just continue to make predictions, which is what a lot of people do. They're never really called out on their predictions that don't come true, which is probably one of the reasons why we have so many cults still exist, regardless of if your predictions come true. You can just say, oh well, some sort of factor happened that was overlooked, but now it's supposed to actually happen at this time. No, the answer is you don't actually know, and that's the answer for most of the stuff. We have experts, we have people that know a lot, but one thing that knowing a lot will never be able to do is allow you to predict the future, which is we're just not in that position to do that, and nobody that can, and anybody that says they can is most likely just lying or just way too confident in their own abilities. That being said, if you're looking to buy a home right now, keep a very broad and open mind about where you're buying. Look into a lot of the factors that go into the market of the place you're buying in, right? Don't just look at, oh, I need to get a house. Look at the potential future for the area. Do some research on the area, on the economy of the area, the development of the area, the potential future that the area is going to have, be it the province, be it the city. Because if you're buying a home, the idea is that you're going to be there for a while, right? So if you're going to be there for a while, get to know the place prior to setting down roots. And don't be so committed to these large urban areas. You can have a great life outside of Toronto. You can have a great life outside of the GTA. Don't be so committed to these particular areas. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people are going to Calgary, buying up in Calgary. There's a reason. Maybe take a look at what that reason is. Anyways, I'm gonna end the video here. But if you do like any of the content, things you heard, feel free to comment below, like, share, or subscribe. And yeah, I'll be seeing you in the next video. All right, have a great one.